Namaste and welcome to our channel. Albert Einstein is recognized around the world as one of the most iconic and intelligent minds ever. From his fantastic scientific discoveries to the hardships he endured during his life, Einstein shared a lot of wisdom and insight on life, people, and the world in general. So, his quotes will definitely help you to get inspired and motivated towards your life. So, let's begin. The world is a dangerous place to live. Not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. The value of a man should be seen in what he gives and not in what he is able to receive. Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Once we accept our limits, we go beyond them. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. The only way to escape the corruptible effect of praise is to go on working. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. Intellectuals solve problems. Geniuses prevent them. To raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. God always takes the simplest way. Small is the number of people who see with their eyes and think with their minds. Anyone who does not take truth seriously in small matters cannot be trusted in large ones either. Joy in looking and comprehending is nature's most beautiful gift. I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. It is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. Before God, we are all equally wise and equally foolish. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. I cannot imagine a God who rewards and punishes the objects of His creation and is but a reflection of human frailty. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. A question that sometimes strikes me hazy: am I Or are the others crazy? The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. If the facts don't fit the theory, change the facts. Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. The faster you go, the shorter you are. The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble mind. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity. The gift of fantasy has meant more to me than my talent for absorbing positive knowledge. All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. The hardest thing to understand in the world is the income tax. Information is not knowledge. Reading after a certain age diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Memory is deceptive because it is colored by today's events. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the teller. Everyone should be respected as an individual, but no one idealized. Any man who can drive safely while kissing a pretty girl is simply not giving the kiss the attention it deserves. In order to be an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep oneself. Any intelligent fool can make things bigger and more complex. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction. The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Once you can accept the universe as matter expanding into nothing, that is something. Wearing stripes with plaid comes easy. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive. The fear of death is the most unjustified of all fears, for there is no risk of accident for someone who is dead. It is only to the individual that a soul is given. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Stephen Hawking is widely regarded as one of the greatest scientists in modern history, but he also had an incredible way with words. So today, I'm here with you guys to share some of his quotes. I hope these quotes will give some knowledge about physics, life, disability, and many more. Let's begin. We are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a very average star. But we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special. The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance. It is the illusion of knowledge. Quiet people have the loudest minds. Life would be tragic if it weren't funny. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. My goal is simple. It is a complete understanding of the universe, why it is as it is, and why it exists at all. I have noticed that even those who assert that everything is predestined and that we can change nothing about it still look both ways before they cross the street. Although I cannot move and I have to speak through a computer, in my mind, I am free. One of the basic rules of the universe is that nothing is perfect. Perfection simply does not exist. Without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist. There is a fundamental difference between religion, which is based on authority, and science, which is based on observation and reason. Science will win because it works. The universe does not allow perfection. If time travel is possible, we are the tourists from the future. Not only does God play dice, but He sometimes throws them where they cannot be seen. You cannot understand the glories of the universe without believing there is some supreme power behind it. People who boast about their IQ are losers. The thing about smart people is that they seem like crazy people to dumb people. To confine our attention to terrestrial matters would be to limit the human spirit. To confine our attention to terrestrial matters would be to limit the human spirit. I regard the afterlife to be a fairy story for people that are afraid of the dark. It matters if you just don't give up. We only have to look at ourselves to see how intelligent life might develop into something we would not want to meet. One is always a long way from solving a problem until one actually has the answer. The idea of 10 dimensions might sound exciting, but they would cause real problems if you forget where you parked your car. I like physics, but I love cartoons. Nothing is better than reading and gaining more and more knowledge. Government works best under the glare of public scrutiny. Absent such scrutiny, abuses occur. it is not clear that intelligence has any long-term survival value. The human capacity for guilt is such that people can always find ways to blame themselves. Thus, in a sense, we are all doomed even if we stay away from black holes. God abhors a naked singularity. Simplicity is a matter of taste. The increase of disorder or entropy is what distinguishes the past from the future, giving a direction to time. Eternity is a long time, especially towards the end. We each exist for but a short time, and in that time, explore but a small part of the whole universe. We are in danger of destroying ourselves by our greed and stupidity. We cannot remain looking inwards at ourselves on a small and increasingly polluted and overcrowded planet. The universe does not behave according to our preconceived ideas. It continues to surprise us. People won't have time for you if you are always angry or complaining. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Where there is life, there is hope. What did God do before He created the universe? If one is physically disabled, one cannot afford to be psychologically disabled as well. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking, and its greatest failures by not talking. Scientists tend to risk theories they admire. If you understand how the universe operates, you control it in a way. It is said that there is no such thing as a free lunch, but the universe is the ultimate free lunch. There should be no boundaries to human endeavor, however bad life may seem. While there is life, there is hope. In an infinite universe, every point can be regarded as the center, because every point has an infinite number of stars on each side of it. Science is not only a disciple of reason, but also one of romance and passion. Do we really have a reason to believe that an objective really exists? Or, in other words, why does disorder increase in the same direction of time as that in which the universe expands? Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. There are two reasons for someone to be famous. Either he's a good man or a very bad person. Martin Luther King was among the good one who dedicated his life to the community. He was a great speaker that motivated to protest using non-violence. Also, he uses peaceful strategies like a boycott, protest march, and sit-ins, etc. for protest. That's why he is considered as one of the greatest personalities in the history. His words had powers to motivate people and inspire people. Today, I will recite some of his quotes so that you can also be motivated and inspired with his sayings. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. When you are right, you cannot be too radical. When you are wrong, you cannot be too conservative. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helped to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus. Non-violence is a powerful weapon. Indeed, it is a weapon unique in history, which cuts without wounding and ennobles the man who wields it. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance, and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. Everything that we see is a shadow cast by that which we do not see. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. Man must evolve for all human conflict, a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. The moral arc of the universe bends at the elbow of justice. The hope of a secure and livable world lies with disciplined non-conformists who are dedicated to justice, peace, and brotherhood. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. At the center of non-violence stands the principle of love. War is a poor chisel to carve out tomorrow. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breath. I am not interested in power for power's sake, but I am interested in power that is moral, that is right, and that is good. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. they don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. Our scientific power has outrun our spiritual power. We have guided missiles and misguided men. What is wrong in the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest for supremacy. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhuman. I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education, and culture for their mind, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirit. A right delayed is a right denied. There comes a time when silence is betrayal. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. We will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Love is the greatest force in the universe. It is the heartbeat of the moral cosmos. He who loves is a participant in the being of God. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into friend. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. We must use time creatively in the knowledge that the time is always ripe to do right. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. We may have all come on different ships, but we are in the same boat now. Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Forgiveness is not an occasional art, it is a permanent attitude. Never succumb to the temptation of bitterness. Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it is right. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. Be a bus if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice. We must build dikes of courage to hold back the flood of fear. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must walk on in the days ahead with an audacious faith in the future. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Mahatma Gandhi was the leader of the Indian independence movement and pioneer of the philosophy and strategy of non-violence. His influence on world peace is immeasurable. The quotes by the remarkable man might give you some motivation and inspiration. Let's begin. A coward is incapable of exhibiting love. It is the prerogative of the brave. A man who was completely innocent offered himself as a sacrifice for the good of others, including his enemies, and became the ransom of the world. It was a perfect act, a no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. A religion that takes no account of practical affairs and does not help to solve them is no religion. A small body of determined spirits, fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission, can alter the course of history. An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. An unjust law is itself a species of violence. Arrest for its breach is more so. Anger is the enemy of non-violence, and pride is the monster that swallows it up. Before the throne of the Almighty, man will be judged not by his acts but by his intentions. Each one of us has to find peace from within, and peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is the truth. Faith is not something to grasp, it is a state to grow into. First they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, and then you win. Gentleness, self-sacrifice, and generosity are the exclusive possession of no one race or religion. God sometimes does not try to the uttermost those whom He wishes to bless. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Healthy discontent is the prelude to progress. Honest disagreement is often a good sign of progress. I am prepared to die, but there is no cause for which I am prepared to kill. I believe that a man is the strongest soldier for daring to die unarmed. I cannot teach you violence, as I do not myself believe in it. I can only teach you not to bow your heads before anyone, even at the cost of your life. I claim that human mind or human society is not divided into watertight compartments called social, political, and religious. All act and react upon one another. I have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and non-violence are as old as the hills. All I have done is try to experiment in both on as vast a scale as I could. I know to banish anger altogether from one's breast is a difficult task. It cannot be achieved through pure personal effort. It can be done only by God's grace. I object to violence because when it appears to do good, the good is only temporary. The evil it does is permanent. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. If I had no sense of humor, I would long ago have committed suicide. If we are to teach real peace in this world, and if we are to carry on a real war against war, we shall have to begin with the children. In a gentle way, you can shake the world. In prayer, it is better to have a heart without words than words without a heart. Increase of material comforts, it may be generally laid down, does not in any way whatsoever conduce to moral growth. Intolerance betrays want of faith in one's cause. Intolerance in itself is a form of violence and an obstacle to the growth of a true democratic spirit. I shall not fear anyone on earth. I shall fear only God. I shall not bear ill will toward anyone. I shall not submit to injustice from anyone. I shall conquer untruth by truth, and in resisting untruth, I shall put up with all suffering. It has always been a mystery to me how men can feel themselves honored by the humiliation of their fellow beings. It is any day better to stand erect with a broken and bandaged head than to crawl on one's belly in order to be able to save one's head. Justice that love gives is a surrender. Justice that law gives is a punishment. Let the first act of every morning be to make the following resolve for the day. Let us all be brave enough to die the death of a martyr, but let no one lust for martyrdom. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. Man becomes great exactly in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow man. Man lives freely only by his readiness to die, if he need be, at the hands of his brother, never by killing him. Man should forget his anger before he lies down to sleep. Morality is the basis of things, and truth is the substance of all morality. My life is my message. My religion is based on truth and non-violence. Truth is my God. Non-violence is the means of realizing Him. No culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. For Academy Award winner Morgan Freeman, it was a long road towards becoming one of America's most accomplished and respected actors. Today, we present you Morgan Freeman quotes to inspire you to aim higher. So, let's begin. If you live a life of make-believe, your life isn't worth anything until you do something that does challenge your reality. Acting means living. It's all I do and all I am good at. Martin Luther King Jr. is remembered as our Prince of Peace, of civil rights. We owe him something major that will keep his memory alive. Give me something interesting to play, and I am happy. I'm not intimidated by lead roles. I'm better in them. I don't feel pressure. I feel released at times like that. That's what I am born to do. People need to start to think about the messages that they send in the movies. People hear that and say, I am being modest. But I am not a modest person. But I have to be truthful about what I am doing, and what I am doing is channeling. The best way to guarantee a loss is to quit. It's what I learned from the great actors that I work with. Stillness, that's all. And that's the hardest thing. But I can say that life is good to me, has been and is good. So I think my task is to be good to it. But I can say that life is good to me, has been and is good. So I think my task is to be good to it. As you grow in this business, you learn how to do more with less. Was I always going to be here? No, I was not. I was going to be homeless at one time. You never know what's going to happen. Most of the time, it's the role. Sometimes, it's the story, and sometimes, it's just the paycheck. Learning how to be still, to really be still and let life happen. That stillness becomes a radiance. I don't get off on romantic paths, but I often think if I had had my dental work done early on, well, maybe. And some places you've been before are so great that you don't ever mind going back. Some places you've been before, you don't ever want to go back. I have been living with myself all of my life, so I know all of me. So when I watch me, all I see is me. It's boring. I find it difficult to watch myself. I find it boring. Still, it can be more effective to accomplish what you need to accomplish with the minimum effort. I always tell my kids, if you lay down, people will step over you. But if you keep scrabbling, if you keep going, someone will always give you a hand. My approach to acting is that I'm totally intuitive. I read the script and I get it. If I don't get it, I can't do it. I feel fine. I don't care who the director is. All you have to do is know what you are doing. All of us, everybody in the business. That's all you ask anyone. You know your job, I know mine. Let's go, do it. I knew at an early age I wanted to act. Acting was always easy for me. I don't believe in predestination, but I do believe that once you get wherever it is you are going, that is where you were going to be. If you are playing somebody who is not you, then you can imagine that you are that person. You can feel like he feels, move like he moves, look like he looks in your own mind. Big budget movies can have big budget perks. But what is the driving force? Of course, is the script and your part in it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. Not only do I have to live right, I have to get some cash for my troubles. It's a scary thing. Is there a movie I think I should have won the Oscar for? Yeah, all of them. I can only be so long without work before I start getting antsy. One of the things you can always depend on. This is one of the truths of the universe. And you heard it first from here. Whatever we decide we want to do is what we do. Once you have gotten this job, there's nothing to it. If you are an actor, you are an actor. Doing it is not the hard part. The hard part is getting to do it. I'm really more interested in the nomination than in the award, because I think the nomination just puts you within a group of outstanding actors. If you become a star, people are going to go to see you. If you remain an actor, they are going to go and see the story you are in. People say it's a movie about boxing. I don't think it's a movie about boxing. Boxing is like a platform. It's just a stage where this is played out. If you dream, you have got to dream that it's going to happen. I want to be up there, being lauded and applauded, and giving all this and on the red carpet, waving at the hearts of the people. Costume is always an asset. I don't do comedy. I think if a situation is funny, you just play it for real. And if it's funny, it's funny. Doing comedy is as easy as doing anything else. You are dependent totally on the material. Playing is no challenge. Every time that you get a role, you get to go play with other people in the sandbox. And so, there is no challenge, real challenge. The major challenge is getting the work, finding the sandbox. Forget saving energy. If we get the right kind of energy, there are endless amounts. Walking on a stage is really a great voice developer. I think the educational value is what comes first. I'm a firm believer that things happen as they should. The universe unfolds just as it's supposed to. I'm always trying new things and learning new things. If there isn't anything more you can learn, go off and die. You want to retire from a job you are not that all enamored with. I love what I do. I want to keep doing it till I can't get out of bed doing it. If we don't save the oceans, if we don't do something about what we are doing to the oceans, as well as the planet at large, we are going to be really sorry. So how do you be good to life? You live it. If you dream, you have to imagine that it will actually happen. You can make anything into a play for the simple reason that the human mind is one of the best writers in the business. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Maya Angelou gave hope to the hopeless and inspiration to the world. Through her poems and stories, she has made us realize the role we play, or rather need to start playing. A lot of people pull off their nose and do something about the decaying world which lies around us. Maya Angelou has given me a lone hope that I can make a difference in our slowly dying world. Her poems speak about the turmoil our world is in. She encourages us to love, love and love. So, here we are today with the quotes given by Maya Angelou. I have learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. I have learned that whenever I decide something with an open heart, I usually make the right decision. You can only become truly accomplished at something you love. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. We need much less than we think we need. If I'm not good to myself, how can I expect anyone else to be good to me? Without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, true, merciful, generous, or honest. Have enough courage to trust love one more time and always one more time. If you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. Never make someone a priority when all you are to them is an option. A wise woman wishes to be no one's enemy. A wise woman refuses to be anyone's victim. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Life Life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the moments that take your breath away. If one is lucky, a solitary fantasy can totally transform 1 million realities. Yet, it has caused a lot of problems in the world, but has not solved one yet. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. There is a world of difference between truth and facts. Facts can obscure the truth. I have learned that you should not go through life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If you find it in your heart to care for somebody else, you will have succeeded. We are only as blind as we want to be. I got my own back. Seek patience and passion in equal amount. Patience alone will not build the temple. Passion alone will destroy its walls. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. I respect myself and insist upon it from everybody. And because I do it, I then respect everybody too. Determined to live life with flair and laughter. I have learned that I still have a lot to learn. I work very hard and I play very hard. I am grateful for life and I live it. I believe life loves the liver of it. I live it. Whatever you want to do, if you want to be great at it, you have to love it and be able to make sacrifices for it. Courage. You develop courage by doing small things, like just as if you would not want to pick up 100-pound weight without preparing yourself. Loving someone liberates the lover as well as the beloved, and that kind of love comes with ease. My great hope is to laugh as much as I cry, to get my work done, and try to love somebody and have the courage to accept the love in return. First best is falling in love. Second best is being in love. Least best is falling out of love. But any of it is better than never having been in love. If you have only one smile in you, give it to the people you love. I have learned that no matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life goes on and it will be better tomorrow. Hope and fear cannot occupy the same space at the same time. Invite one to stay. As you grow older, you will discover that you have two hands, one for helping yourself, the other for helping others. We need joy as we need air. We need love as we need water. We need each other as we need the earth we share. I learned a long time ago, the wisest thing I can do is be on my own side, be an advocate for myself and others like me. The need for change bulldozed a road down the center of my mind. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit it, the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. If I'm not good to myself, how can I expect anyone else to be good to me? Nothing will work unless you do. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. Ask for what you want and be prepared to get it. I not only have the right to stand up for myself, but I have the responsibility. I can't ask somebody else to stand up for me if I want to stand up for myself. And once you stand up for yourself, you would be surprised that people say, "Can I be of help?" Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Abraham Lincoln, who is remembered as the great emancipator because he worked to end slavery in the United States. He was a great personality whose words were so wise and useful. He was honest, courageous, intellectual, responsible, and what not. Today, we are reciting the quotation said by him, which will help to make our lives easier and inspire us to be a better person. Folks are usually about as happy as they make their minds up to be. Whatever you are, be a good one. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? My best friend is the person who will give me a book I have not read. My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. Books serve to show a man that those original thoughts of his aren't very new after all. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. I can see how it might be possible for a man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist, but I cannot conceive how a man could look up into the heavens and say there is no God. Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. Be sure you put your feet in the right place then stand firm. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. I would rather be a little nobody than to be an evil somebody. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? I have been driving many times upon my knees by the overwhelming convictions that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of all about me seemed insufficient for that day. All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. Character is like a tree, and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is, and the tree is the real thing. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than anything. The best way to predict your future is to create it. No man is poor who has a godly mother. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. Leave nothing for tomorrow which can be done today. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. Every man's happiness is his own responsibility. The best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. That some achieve great success is proof to all that others can achieve it as well. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. Whatever you are, be a good one. Get books, sit yourself down anywhere and go to reading them yourself. All I have learned, I learned from books. When I get ready to talk to people, I spend 2/3 of the time thinking what they want to hear and 1/3 thinking about what I want to say. I will prepare and someday my chance will come. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. Everybody likes a compliment. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than anything. If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong. If there's anything that a man can do well, I say let him do it. Give him a chance. If I am killed, I can die once. But to live in constant dread of it is to die over and over again. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. He has a right to criticize who has a heart to help. Important principles may and must be inflexible. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Oscar Wilde was an Irish poet and playwright. He was an idealist and a starry-eyed optimist. He not only idealized the world around him, but people too, viewing them as their best possible selves, until undeniable evidence of their faults stared him in the face. So let's recite some of his quotes today, so that you would also get some optimist vibe and get the meaning to your life. Let's get started. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. The world is divided into two classes: those who believe the incredible and those who do the improbable. I have the simplest taste. I'm always satisfied with the best. A man who does not think for himself does not think at all. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I am old, I know that it is. The truth is rarely pure and never simple. Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. There are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. There is no sin except stupidity. I have nothing to declare except my genius. The only difference between the saint and the sinner is that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. It is better to be beautiful than to be good, but it is better to be good than to be ugly. No man is rich enough to buy back his past. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does. That's his. There are only two kinds of people who are really fascinating. People who know absolutely everything, and people who know absolutely nothing. Success is a science. If you have the conditions, you get the result. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. Life is far too important a thing. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. Deceiving others, that is what the world calls a romance. He has no enemies, but is intensely disliked by his friends. There is only one thing in life worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. If there was less sympathy in the world, there would be less trouble in the world. What That is a cynic, a man who knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. I am not young enough to know everything. Men always want to be a woman's first love. Women like to be a man's last romance. Consistency is the last refusee of the unimaginative. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. A work of art is a unique result of a unique temperament. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. Everybody who is incapable of learning has taken to teaching. It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it. The world has grown suspicious of anything that looks like a happy married life. There is always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has keys to love. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes. As long as woman can look 10 years younger than her own daughter, she is perfectly satisfied. Between men and women, there is no friendship possible. There is passion, enmity, worship, love, but no friendship. Women are made to be loved, not understood. Those who find ugly meanings in beautiful things are corrupt without being charming. This is a fault. Questions are never indiscreet. Answers sometimes are. I put all my genius into my life. I put only my talent into my work. You will always be fond of me. I represent to you all the sins you have never had the courage to commit. When the gods wish to punish us, they answer our prayers. I can't resist everything except temptation. To expect the unexpected shows a thoroughly modern intellect. Romance should never begin with sentiment. It should begin with science and end with a settlement. True friends stab you in the front. Memory is the diary that we all carry about with us. A gentleman is one who never hurts anyone's feelings unintentionally. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Rumi was a Persian poet, an Islamic dervish and a Sufi mystic. His discipline and wisdom have crossed all national and ethnic borders ever since the 13th century. He is seen as a great spiritual master and poet. His work influenced and inspired many other artists. His wise words kept many others sent up to this day. So we are reciting some of his quotes for you today. Let's begin. little grows on jagged rock, be ground, be crumbled, so wildflowers will come up where you are. The lion is most handsome when looking for food. If all you can do is crawl, start crawling. Let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you really love. When you do things from your shawl, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. There are 100 of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Sit, be still, and listen. Patience is the key to joy. If light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Set your life on fire. Seek those who fan your flames. Be empty of worrying. Think of who created thought. Become the sky. Take an axe to the prison wall. Escape. Let yourself become living poetry. Be soulful. Be kind. Be in love. Click to it. Be an empty space, untouched by words. I know you are tired, but come, this is the way. Dance until you shatter yourself. The world within you, your essence, is your kingdom. To praise the sun is to praise your own eyes. Respond to every call that excites your spirit. Wherever you stand, be the soul of that place. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Half-heartedness does not reach into majesty. Look at the moon in the sky, not the one in the lake. What is planted in each person's soul will sprout. The source of now is here. Grace comes to forgive and then forgive again. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings, learn to use them and fly. Anyone who genuinely and consistently, with both hands, looks for something will find it. In each moment, the fire rages. It will burn away 100 wells and carry you 1,000 steps toward your goal. The garden of the world has no limit except in your mind. When I am silent, I fall into the place where everything is music. With every breath, I plant the seeds of devotion. I am a farmer of the heart. Everyone has been made for some particular work, and the desire for that work has been put in every heart. Achieve some perfection yourself, so that you may not fall into sorrow by seeing the perfection in others. Don't be satisfied with the stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. Whether one moves slowly or with speed, the one who is a seeker will be a finder. Be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. Let us carve gems out of our stony hearts and let them light our path to love. Start a huge, foolish project like Noah. It makes absolutely no difference what people think of you. Seek the wisdom that will untie your knot. Seek the path that demands your whole being. Whoever has heart's doors wide open could see the sun itself in every atom. The message behind the words is the voice of the heart. You are not one, you are 1,000. Just light your lantern. Work, keep digging your well. Water is there somewhere. Love sometimes wants to do us a great favor, hold us upside down and shake all the nonsense out. Lovers have headaches that can't be cured by drugs or sleep or games, but only by seeing their beloved. Beauty surrounds us, but usually we need to be walking in a garden to know it. Gratitude is the wine for the soul. Go on, get drunk. Thank you for listening to us. Namaste and welcome to our channel. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from 161 to 180 and a Stoic philosopher. Hope you will find the inspiration and wisdom you need to stay calm and peaceful whatever happens in your life. So let's begin. The best answer to anger is silence. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. It is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. To live a good life, we have the potential for it. If we can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, to love only what happens, what was destined, no greater harmony. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Receive without conceit, release without struggle. Life is short, that's all there is to say. Get what you can from the present, thoughtfully, justly. Be content to seem what you really are. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears. How soon will time cover all things? When nature gives it. Each of us needs what nature gives us. When nature gives it. Remember matter, how tiny your share of it. Time, how brief and fleeting your allotment of it. Fate, how small a role you play in it. Nothing natural is evil. When someone is properly grounded in life, they should not have to look outside themselves for approval. He who who follows reason in all things is both tranquil and active at the same time, and also cheerful and collected. A rock is thrown in the air. It loses nothing by coming down, gain nothing by going up. If someone responds to insult like a rock, what has the abuser gained with his invective? Stick to what's in front of you. Idea, action, utterance. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Don't be overheard complaining, not even to yourself. Do not be perturbed, for all the things are according to the nature of the universal, and in a little time you will be nobody and nowhere. True good fortune is what you make for yourself. Good fortune, good character, good intention, good actions. Let not your mind run on what you lack as much as what you have already. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. You are subject to sorrow, fear, jealousy, anger, and inconsistency. That's the real reason you should admit that you are not wise. Almost nothing material is needed for a happy life. For he who has understood existence, receive without pride, let go without attachment. Be content with what you are, and wish not change, nor dread your last day, no long for it. Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance, and be ready to let it go. In a word, if there is a God, all is well, and if chance rules, do not also be governed by it. So I'll look for the best, and I'm prepared for the opposite. Treat whatever happens as wholly natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find a strength. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. Confine yourself to the present, straight, not straightened. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Whatever happens to you has been waiting to happen. Since the beginning of time, that which is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bees. To live happily is an inward power of the soul. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Do every act of your life as if it were your last. It is not a death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Someone despises me, that's their problem. To accept without arrogance, to let it go with indifference. Thank you for listening to us.